It is my pleasure welcoming viewers to Let's Discuss on OSBC TV. The redesigned Naira notes is not only aimed at reducing the amount of money in circulation, but to also enhance the state economy, as well as promoting the cashless policy. It will also help to serve as ambush against perpetrators of financial crimes in the country. Today on the program, we shall be looking at the CBN's monetary policy, the Naira designed and cash swap. My name is Adibare Chimakide. I'm not alone on the program. I have my co-presenter with me who will be introducing the financial expert, our guest.
Yes, you are welcome to the program. My name is Oluchi Amoda. And as Adibare rightly said, we are currently in a situation where the Central Bank of Nigeria is implementing the cashless policy. The Nigerian cash is very scarce at the moment. A lot of people are going through so many challenges trying to get a cash to either buy something or transact business. And it is causing a lot of problems. People are groaning. We will be taking a look at what the policy is all about, how it is affecting the people, what the CBN ought to be doing that they are not doing, and how Nigerians also can help in ensuring that the cashless policy really stays. Yes, our guest in the house is Elder Bisi Makanjuola. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
He is the president of Osun State Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Osun SIMA. He will also be discussing, telling us what the chambers is all about, what they do, how they do it, and how you can actually be a member of the chambers. You're welcome once again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Makanjuola,
Yes, sir.
what does the CBN aim at achieving for introducing the new Naira notes?
Well, thank you very much. The Nigerian CBN is not different from other CBN all over the world. And what they do is when they have a adjustment in the economy, they sit down and try to look at what ways and means can we correct this one. Take for instance, the first major thing they said was that more than 80% of printed money in Nigeria is outside the banking industry. The CBN told us that about 2.7 trillion is outside the banking industry, and that less than 20% of whatever they have printed is outside, which is not good for the economy. The CBN also feels that it is because this money that bandied around, that is why a lot of crimes are being able to be perpetrated. Money are not going through the normal channel. That is where authorities can trace your transaction, like you have in other crimes. So this has, and then it's also aimed at checking inflation in the economy, because when you have less cash, you want to ration it. You don't want to just spend anyhow. So these are some of their aims. So we now want to look at, are they doing it effectively, or has it been effective, and so on and so forth.
All right. One of their aim was to check inflation. Now, when the new Naira notes were introduced into the market, into the economy, the CBN gave some guidelines
Yes.
on how much an individual can get
per day,
how much an organization can get. With the guidelines, do you think the CBN would have actually achieved its aim?
Yes, if the guidelines have been left as it was at the beginning, I believe it will have been more effective than the one you have now. You see, in Nigeria, Nigerians most times, we don't want to use wrong word. We are not disciplined. And for a nation to move forward, there's need for a lot of discipline. When the CBN first said daily withdrawal cash is 20,000, and he said you can do that every day, 100,000 a week. That's 400,000 in a month. People were shouting. But the question we'll ask is, how many Nigerians spend 400,000 in a month? That we said that policy was not working for. How many Nigerians? Definitely, for most of us sitting here, 80% of Nigerians don't spend 400,000 a month. If we said 400,000 a month, 80% of us, will be regarded as a very rich nation. We must be a very rich nation. If you can spend so much on expenses, every 80% of Nigeria. Then CBN now came out that policy was arrived at when they discovered that 84% of Nigerians, that was the amount they were getting from the POS or so. And you know, all over the world, the 10% rules. Well, if you go to America, you go to China, you come to Nigeria, it is the rich 10% of them they have 90% of the resources. It is the remainder of us, the 90% that have 10% of the resources. That is all over the world. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria. But again, after pressure, the CBN has to agree that, okay, let individuals take 100,000 per day, so that you'll be able to take 500,000 per week. That gives you 2 million. How many Nigerians can send 2 million a month? Then the companies can now take, I think 5 million per day or something like that. So, but here we are. The policy is ongoing. But be that as it may, it has really helped, because they claim that out of the 2.7 now, that it's only 900 billion that is outside the coffers now. Around 1.9 or 1.8 has come into the government coffers. And the reason why is, when you take your old naira in, you are not spending. It's not a cash exchange. It's not that once you take it in, you get it. Okay. You must deposit it. It's only when you need that to come and take, according to the cashless policy, or you transfer. So that's why the money has been able to come in. But if you ask some of us who are traders, who are private sector, one, we believe that the time frame is too short. Although we are given about 3 months since last year. One, Nigerian nature. Nigerians don't do anything according to time. It is only when it is going to the last days that we all rush to do things. But in other climes, I remember vividly, you know, US changes dollar on regular basis. Indian, they do so. But most clients, they give it like 6 months to 1 year. So that is seamless. The two will be going pari passu. As it's inside the system, it doesn't come out again.
A gradual process.
Yes, a gradual process.
Yes.
But I think what really caused this problem is, like, well, the CBN didn't say so, but from what we are reading, it's targeted at the election, the politicians, so the issue of vote buying will be reduced, and vote inducing will also be reduced, which is also good for.
Do you think the policy has been politicized, has claimed in some quarters?
Well, politicians always, when things are not comfortable for them, they have a way of complaining about. They have a way of complaining about everything when it doesn't fit for them, even when that thing is good. So to me, it's a good policy.
Okay.
Yes.
But initially, when the cash swap started, people were still withdrawing the old notes from the ATMs. Why was that so? Because a lot of people have actually come to criticize the CBN that you are trying to, remove a particular currency from the circulation. People will bring it into the bank. They will still go back into the ATM to take it back.
Well, I'm not a government man, and some of us are going to say it as we see it. Our nature in Nigeria is, we as Nigerians, we don't love order.
Okay.
Yes. This money that you say is very scarce. If you still go to Owambe party now, it is the one being spent. This money that we can't find, the ordinary Nigerians can't find to when you go to Owambe party, those selling the naira is there. How do they get it? But the ordinary Nigerian will not get it. So we should ask our bankers, because those people didn't go to the CBN. Ordinary Nigerians don't go to CBN. We go to banks. It is only banks that go to CBN. So why are some people finding it, and some of us are, anybody that wants to do a legitimate business does not find it. So it is our corrupt nature. If you want to hear the truth, it's all of us. So the CBN claims they have printed enough money, and I do believe them. Because if they do not, they are looking for anarchy. They must have printed enough money. But again, it has to be done through the banks. The bankers maybe this is that time. We have stories, nobody is saying it. Social media saying some people will bring 1 million naira to the bank. They will take 900,000 naira out, new notes. They say they are politicians or whoever, those that start their money at home. This is Nigeria. But me and you wants 10,000, it's difficult. That's your
okay. What is your take on the timing? Because this implementation of the CBN's monetary policy coincided with the fuel scarcity, and while election is also fast approaching, how will you describe the experience of Nigerians and the timing?
Well, the experience of Nigeria has been very hard. I can tell you today as I'm sitting, I don't have 1,000 naira. I don't have 1,000 because I don't have access to the new notes. And like you have said, the timing, if you want to be truthful, is not right. Because if you are going to an election, and remember in our election, every time we do our post election, we discover that only around 40% people vote. That is when everything is normal. Less than 50% always vote. They are claiming that 3 million Nigerians have a voters card now. You can be sure they won't have 50 million voters when the votes are counted. That will be about 50%. Now, if people don't have money, if they don't have money in their pocket, they are complaining, as every Nigerian is complaining now. Number two, you don't have fuel to move. You buy fuel at 450, at 500 in some climes, at 650 in some climes. But the most important thing is, take for instance, you have a station selling at 180. You have another station across the line selling at 450, and government is not doing that something. Then I think government needs to be blamed. I think they are not doing it right. That is the truth. That is the truth. Because right here in this town, I know where you can queue, you get 180. The next one, you will not queue. A little queue, you get 450. And it's the same government. Remember, NNPC is the sole importer. So government is the sole importer. And
we need the money.
And we need the money.
The most of the filling stations, they don't even accept transfer.
They don't. Most of them don't. Or when you get there, they say the POS is not working.
That prompts my next question. Is the nation prepared for this cashless policy?
Well, yeah.
Because of these challenges, like the one we have just said, and people in the rural areas.
Can we say it's a teething challenge that because the policy is just being implemented, to gradually, cease off and everything will be all right?
Yes,
you say it in that.
I will agree with that. Every situation has a challenge. Okay, you as a government worker or a corporation worker, you have challenges with your job. Challenges, some of you have challenges now because you must report by 8 o'clock. Even when there's no fuel, you have to bend over backwards to make sure that you are here. You don't want to just tell your employer that, take for instance, this program is supposed to take place by 12. And you are saying, because you didn't find fuel. So with the nation not run, the radio has to run, television has to run. So these are challenges which everybody face. So likewise, any policy done by government, there must be challenges. And human beings are made to solve, to provide solutions to problems. I believe we'll get over it. Because if you don't do it now, if you do it anytime, you are still going to face this same problem. The only thing that is peculiar is the election coming. It is the election coming. And that's where we are saying it is ill-timed. I want to submit that it is ill-timed. If the operators have looked at it very well, they would have done it after the election. That's the way I would have looked at it.
All right, thank you very much. Now, you are the president of Osun State Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture.
Yes.
And you have a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, who are registered under you. With the economic situation in Nigeria at the moment, all the challenges, and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has actually been complaining so that a lot of industries are folding up. Do you think the climate is good enough for businesses to thrive in the country as it is now?
Well, definitely every industrialist will tell you that the climate is not good for businesses. It is obvious. There are no good rules. There's inadequacy of electricity. There's inadequacy of water. Anything that every entrepreneur needs to do well in his job is not provided by government, as is being provided in other crimes. So definitely the situation are very challenging. But be that as it may, either we like it or not, we must continue to operate within the environment that we have found ourselves. Take for instance, most of the problems that we complain about as organized private sector is over taxation, multiple taxation, local government, state government, federal government, all competing on the organized private sector. And remember, in Nigeria, some of us argue that the organized private sector is not bigger than the unorganized private sector. It's not bigger than the unorganized private sector. A lot of them are going on with the government is not capturing. And it allows people, because of this downturn and excessive taxes, people run away from being organized.
Okay.
They run away from being organized.
So tell us the difference. Organized, non-organized.
Yes, thank you. When you are organized, you are registered with CAC, Companies and Allied Matters. You have a certificate that says this is you, and then this is what you do. So once you are registered like that, you have become organized.
Okay.
So because government can trace you, you have an address, and because of that, government has done another thing again that is very good. In the recent past, they have what's called TIN number, tax identification number. Once you're a company, a TIN number is attached to you. So once you have a TIN number, if that company has 10 accounts, once they print your TIN number, all those accounts, because so government can track your transaction for purpose of tax. That's why we said organized. But if you don't register, if you don't go to CAC to register, if I produce water, if I register my own, government will be able to take tax. If I don't register, government doesn't know where I am.
It is possible to evade tax.
It's not impossible. You evade it. It doesn't know you. It does not know you.
Because such organization didn't accept.
Yes, and most of those organizations, in most cases too, they make sure they deal in cash most time. They rarely do businesses in. It's only when it's compulsory that they do it in organized way through bank. Most of them don't do it through bank. They ask you to bring your cash. He gets his cash. He keeps it at home. He wants to buy, he pays cash. So we say those are unorganized. And in most cases, they are very big. You yourself knows those that are very big in town. So.
And how has that been, affecting the economy?
Well, that is why they say you discover that in the last 1-2 years, our budget runs on a large deficit. The government, take for example, the government say 21 or 23 trillion budget for 2023, of which a whopping 12 is deficit. So you are doing less than, you are creating less than what you want to spend. So, and the reason why is a lot of people are not captured on the tax base, and that's why the Minister of Finance says yes, the problem of Nigeria is how to bring money.
Okay.
That we are doing less than we should do more. So, if we have been captured, a lot will have happened. In other crimes, if you just go to Rwanda here, or South Africa, or even places like Morocco, you can't escape it, because most of the businesses are captured.
Okay.
They are captured. I think the government does need to be more disciplined, and they will get it.
Don't you think the capturing process, the rigorous capturing process, could actually be one of the reasons why people run away from it? Because to get your company registered, there are lots of processes you have to go through.
Well, I think in fairness to this particular government, they have tried. To us in the chambers, I remember that sometimes last year we were even giving free registration. Submit your name, government will give you free registration for about 6 months. They opened it. Just come and register free. government was trying to capture a lot of people. And then after that, they reduced the price to around 5,000 for the enterprises, just for you to be able to be registered. So government is trying, but they should try more so that they can bring in more money.
That's motivation.
Yes.
All right, come back. So one of the reasons why the CBN in the back on the Naira notes is to control the amount of money in circulation. Why is it so important to control the amount of money in circulation? Why necessary?
Okay. Thank you. It is basic economics.
Yes,
if you have too much money running after few goods, you are going to create inflation. Then, if you have too much money outside the banking industry, banks won't have enough money to lend to people too, because it is what is in their kitty that they can lend out. So that's why government try to control people to put money in the banks, money that are not useful, rather than keeping it in your house. That is not doing any. It's not useful to the economy. When you keep it in your house, take for instance, I do a business. This business gives me up to maybe 30 million naira profit in a year. Rather than keeping it in the bank, I just kept it in my room. If I kept it in the bank will have larger money to lend to people who are doing businesses.
Why do you think people decide to keep money in their respective homes?
Well, some of these things we have said it. One, sometimes most people that keep people at home, more money at home, outside the politicians. Outside the politicians. Is those that are not organized.
Okay.
If you are organized, you have no reason, because a lot of risks you are carrying. One, if you can be attacked and your money will go, there could be fire, incidents, nobody prays for it, but all these things happen, and a lot of some other things. But because they want to run away from taxation, that's why most people keep money at home. That's what I do.
Okay, now examine the policy and the mode of implementation of the cash swap and the new Naira design. Which areas receive your commendation and what are the shortcomings from that policy?
Well, we are the policy itself, as we have agreed, is very good. It's very good. The policy itself, it's only the mode of implementation that we are saying. We said the time given is too short. We said because we are going to election, it's going to disenfranchise some people. Many people will feel disenchanted. That's why I want all this nonsense.
Also take on the withdrawal limit for individual corporate.
I've said that. I don't have any problem with withdrawal limit. Since you can transfer any amount from the bank.
Alright.
Yes, you can transfer any amount from the bank.
Let's look at what is happening in some other communities in Nigeria. You know, trading in other currencies that is not the Naira. As the result of the scarcity of the Naira, is it constitutional?
Well, definitely it's not constitutional, but necessity is the mother of invention.
Okay.
And people must always find a way out of any situation where they have found themselves. So those living at the borders just discover that the best thing they can do now is for them to be trading the neighboring currencies in order to get by. And then nobody can blame them. You cannot blame them. It's illegal, but what do you do? When this policy was not there, they were not doing that. So there's another inflation. So since we can't do better now, there must be cash. So I won't blame anybody. Government created the situation.
Okay. Now the cashless policy, you've agreed that it's a very laudable one.
It's good.
Now, the kind of technology, our level of technology in Nigeria, because most of the times you want to do transfer, even these days, it will not go. Sometimes you do it, your money will hang somewhere. It won't get to who you're transferring to. It won't come back into your account. Now, what do you think the central bank should be doing in order to develop, to ensure that the banking sector has enough technological know-how to actually carry out this cashless policy?
Well, in all honesty, there are enough technology around
Okay.
to do most of this thing. And the truth of the matter is, in the financial sector, the level of technology which we have achieved in Nigeria, most people don't have it.
Wow.
In case of this banking industry,
Okay.
they don't, because you have a lot of innovation here that you can do. I think the limitation is the what do you call it? The telecommunications
Right.
industries, which they depend upon for the networks. Because most of this failure we are talking is about networks. It is the network that gave this problem. But you see, the Nigerian problem has always been Nigerian. You see, honestly, the Nigerian problems have always been Nigerian. If you look at when the telecommunication was, we've seen 21 years now on telecommunication, and we are still saying network problem. When are we going to get matured? But people remember when we sold our GSM licenses then, we sold national. Most nations don't do national. Most big nations, they do regional.
Okay.
If it has been regional, each of those telecommunication industries will have covered those regions very well by their mast. You get what I'm trying to say? But what usually happens is when you move in some countries, when you are moving from the west to the east, if you have a Glo in the west and you have Airtel in the east, as soon as you are cutting to the east, your network changes to Airtel.
Okay.
But in that situation, the two telecom will be sharing.
Collaboration.
Yes, they want to be sharing the money because the Glo man is now using the Airtel. But you know, in Nigeria we have a way everybody wants the national one, and it's not easy to cover the nation like that. That's why we still have some of this network problem.
And do you see this coming to an end very soon?
It will. We are progressing. I think it will only take us a longer time. And that everybody knows in this nation, and not this is a television program, but we know the biggest of them, the MTN. It's most reliable. I'm sorry, followed in those grades like that. So,
don't you think that we still have the challenge of infrastructure, gap in infrastructure, especially the power supply, which is needed to enhance this cashless policy? What is the way out? Because some customers, by the time they transact business, they keep waiting, like she has just said, waiting for alert, waiting for confirmation, but it won't come on time.
Those failures that we have in networks,
yes,
it's either those masts are not there, or where they are, it's not working because it's powered by diesel. In other claims, it's not powered by diesel. So it's powered from the grid in the other claim, and they don't have a light failure there. So their network is 100%. If you have somebody in UK now, you can't lie the way we lie in Nigeria. If I call somebody in UK now, and I say, I've been calling you 2 times, he will tell you it's a lie. It's not possible. The phone has no rank. But you can lie to anybody here. I've been calling, it is you yourself who say it's network. Even when I say, I've called you 5 times, you will say it's network. So these are peculiar problems. Any incoming government, the incoming government, whichever party, the best they can do for Nigeria is to make sure that they tackle the issue of power. Once they tackle the issue of power, because what the manufacturers are saying now is power consumes more than 75% of some people's cost now. Exactly. Even the banks. Exactly. You remember they were forced to cut down the number of hours they do. Most banks don't open by 8 now. They open around 10. Sometimes by 2 they say they are closed. They just to save their energy cost. So these are the major problems. So the infrastructural problem in Nigeria has to be looked into in a very. The next government should declare war on infrastructure, especially in the energy sector, in order for us to move forward. You saw that the telecommunication moved us forward a little bit. In fact, in a big way. That was why our economy was able to overtake South Africa. It was because of the telecoms. You remember in the past, if you need something in Kano, you have to get there, or you do it by post. You remember in those good days, we go and queue at Yate, Nitel, to call somebody in the US or UK. So anybody that solves our power problem, I believe Nigerian problems more than 50% solved.
Okay, now Nigeria is a consuming nation.
Yes.
And when you produce something in the country, and those that are importing, it's always cheaper. Manufacturers produce, their goods are very expensive. When you import, it is cheaper. Why is this so?
Yes, it is what you have just asked. The infrastructure are not there. Take for instance, to carry a container load of imports from the port in Lagos to Osogbo, a 20-foot container will cost you nothing less than ₦1 million.
Okay.
Whereas, what brought that container from wherever China, you are bringing it, what cost you to bring it from China to the port? It's less than 100,000. So you could see. So our cost here is very high because of the infrastructure. So that is why we are not able to compete with the incoming goods. We add a lot of costs there. Take for instance, the transportation cost is just too high. The roads are bad. Anybody that rides a car now knows that it's not a picnic. To own a car now. Anybody that buys petrol at 4,000, at 400 per liter, 10 liters that's 4,000. And I can assure you, if you live far, you need to buy that around 4 times. That's around 40 liters. Something else. That's about 20. How much do you want? So, like this, the diesel cost is very high, transportation very high, energy cost very high. So, when our goods are produced, it has a very high price, so it can't compete with overseas. Remember too, most of the overseas country, once you produce for export, government gives you tax rebate because you are producing for export, because you have satisfied the home industry, and you are creating more job for the people at home. So they give you incentive in terms of tax rebate to produce more so that you can send out. So these are some of the problems.
We don't have such policies in Nigeria.
Well, it's there. That's why we are creating these zones now, the export processing zones.
Okay.
Where we say, well, you are insulated from the other companies that are not there. You are producing from export, is banded. You are given some certain incentives to do that. In order to
has it really been working?
It's working.
And why I'm asking this is because we discovered that most of the time the goods are always scarce in the country. You know, you're producing is not enough for Nigerians. You're taking it abroad. That's why I'm actually asking if the export zones, the policy on export zones is really working. The economy of a nation is like a family. Okay. Yes. If a family, if we are not serious about it, the family will not be able to achieve as it should achieve. So it's also like that at the national level or the state government level. Once governance is not serious or not adequately looked into, you have some of these lapses. Government should be able to say, these are the things I want in the export processing zone. These are things I want outside the place. Anything that is not enough in Nigeria, you don't go to the exporting zone to produce it and send it abroad. While we are suffering here, we are saying we are good abroad. So these are some of the policies that government should look into. It shouldn't be a free for all thing. There should be categorization. Okay. That's what I mean.
Okay. In what ways do you think the introduce the Naira notes and the cash swap policy will help to enhance the criminal justice system in the country?
That will go a long way. That will go a long way. Take for instance, we read in the social media that bandits were even giving money on the highway to people, the old notes, because they don't know where to spend it, and, and they have a lot of it in the bush. So I think it's going to help to minimize criminality in Nigeria. It's going to help. Because when money go through the banking system, it can easily be traced. But as long as you have cash And that's the reason why corruption thrives. In abroad, when you buy most things, it can be traced to you. Because in most cases, you have either bought with your card or through the banking system. So you can be traced that one Mr. Makanjuola was the one that bought so person also, yeah, we bring it.
And the new Naira has the code now.
Yeah.
On it, the new Naira has the number.
Ah, well, but as long as you have it in your hand, nobody traces you here. You can't be traced. What numbers? Notes only have numbers.
So it's not a
CBN boss said that there's identification number now that could be traced because that.
Which no matter, you trace it. Somebody came to my shop, he bought something $1 million. I did the money I bought from you. Where is it? What is it tracing? Where is tracing?
Right. Now, one of the reasons the CBN also gave for the redesign of the Naira was that the Naira, it will make the Naira to be stronger. That the currency is so weak, especially against other international currencies, the dollar, the pound, and the euro. Now, the CBN is trying to make the dollar, the Naira, strong. And the manufacturers, the entrepreneurs are not, having a conducive environment. The ease of doing business is not really favorable to them. People still import goods into the country. If you put them side by side, do you think the policy can actually work in isolation?
The policy can work in isolation. The policy cannot work in isolation, and the Yoruba say one fear tell one pa la para bani. So there's no way it can work in isolation. People, they are not. I'm a manufacturer. If you want to import, it is a Herculean task getting forests from the banks to import. And and that's why goods and services being produced in Nigeria is going down, because manufacturers don't have access to forex. Remember, even at the point last year, the airline said they would stop coming to Nigeria. They have a lot of money stocked stacked up in Nigeria, and nobody's giving them the forex to repatriate to their country. It's just being kept here. So they are not. And once you don't produce goods and services, how do you get the dollars? Is it not what we said that we buy? We don't print dollars. What we do is to print the Naira. We don't print dollars. So if you don't sell goods, there's no way you are going to have enough dollar. So all we sell most is the oil. And remember, even up till October last year, over 600,000 barrels was being stolen every day. So government just woke up just about 3 or 4 months ago. They left it like that. Government woke up just about 3 or 4 months ago. And we were told that they were now discovering a lot of pipes here and there. But those pipes are there. The same security group discovery has always been there. So it's the will of government to do it. So the Naira swap cannot change all those. All those have to be looked into. We have to have forex to produce goods and services, those that we can sell. But the forex you get in Nigeria most is, we always complain, so for extra cost to travel.
Okay.
The banks are ready for that most of the time. Students, they are ready for that all the time. Medical, they are ready for that all the time. That's true for me. For them, Swala. So
the public servants have been banned from withdrawing cash from the public accounts with effect from March. What is your take on that? And in addition, we still see that the federal government proposes punitive measures on those who abuse the new notes, the new currency in term. What's your take on this?
What constitutes an abuse?
There are various forms. Like we heard, a lady has just been arrested for selling the currency through online. She has just been arrested.
Okay. Selling Nigerian Naira?
Yes, the new notes.
Even spraying the parties.
Yeah, that's one of the habits. Okay. That's another habit.
Right.
So in whatever form, either selling or mismanagement or whatever.
Well, some of these things are not, to me, the real issues. All these are, the real issues is we don't produce enough to have enough dollars to help our economy. All those people we call abuse, people spray. How many people spray money in the party? What is the percentage of the money being sprayed? And again, the money being sprayed is not destroyed at the end of the day. That's the way I see it.
But those that sells.
That sells
money, yes.
Oh, that sell the money.
They sell the money.
That's the one we refer to as corruption. How do they get the money? They are not banks. How do you have somebody who stacked the new notes in his or her hand? How did he get it? It's corruption. That's why I said government is not. If government is very serious about it, since we have been saying, how many people have been arrested? We are in the West. You go to parties. No, they spray.
Is it the right thing to do? Must
to spray?
Yes.
Well, maybe because I'm in the public, I would say, well, some of these things are, honestly, some of these things are cultural.
Okay.
The art of spraying is cultural thing in the West.
Okay.
Yes, when you look down the Western, the Yoruba land, that's where I know. I don't know of the other. Because our fathers, when they drum for them, they say when the money is finished, they will bring clothes out and throw to the drummer. That's the Yoruba culture.
Okay.
So I'm not saying not all cultures are. You get what I'm trying to say, and because as the nation evolves, we must follow modernity. Not all cultures are perfect, and that's why the world is going towards unified culture, and that's why the Western world are capturing every other nation, as if their culture is best.
All right. Now let's quickly touch the trade fair. They just concluded trade fair in Osho State. Would you say that you actually achieved your aim? What were the gains you recorded, and how do you think it will help develop Osun State's economy?
Thank you. The trade fair has come and gone. We did the year 2021, and we were supposed to do last year because of the change of administration in Osun, and that we were made to push it to this January. That was why we did it last month, and that was why we didn't change our team. We still said Osun State Trade Fair 2022,
okay,
because we want to be holding it yearly. As for whether we have achieved our aim, I want to say yes, we achieved our aim. The purpose of a trade fair is to showcase whatever potentials are within a geographical area, rather in terms of raw materials, goods and services being produced, services that are available. And when you come to the trade fair, you discover that we are able to get an array of some of these things. A lot of things were brought from the local governments. A lot of our small industry came to display their wares, including pomades that are made, including the normal things we eat at home and the rest that are now being produced, that are now being processed
in
Osun State.
Okay.
So we say we have, when you look at it, we have achieved. Now, one of the major function of the trade fair is to make sure that people know where you are. Most people now realize that so these things are made in Osun. Either to some people go to Lagos or Ibadan to buy some of these things because they don't know they are being produced that area. And so trade fair achieves that people know where you are, and it allows you to have more customers for your businesses. So for us, we have achieved, but there's still room for improvement. There's still room for improvement. And when you look at our trade fair, you will discover that every local government in Osun has one thing or two in abundance, which we have made a clarion call to government. The government must have an initiative to make sure that most of these raw materials coming from our rural area are processed there in Osun in order to create a wealth for our people.
Now, what is the African Continental Trade Area? What is it all about?
Well, the African Continental Trade Area is to promote trade among African countries. You have 54 African countries coming together now to become one market, and it says the biggest market now.
Okay.
Yes, it's supposed to be the biggest trade bloc That is if it works perfectly. Either though, when they discover that the trade within African countries is just around 16%. African countries trade with outside by 84%.
Wow.
So we said all these 84% of resources going abroad. Why are we not trading among ourselves? And that's why you have that trade. It started last year.
Okay.
Yes. And Nigeria has signed it. The thing have taken off. So we are supposed, it means that if you produce goods in Nigeria, it can go to Ghana, it can go to Egypt without hindrance. All they need is just the documentation. So that is what the trade is supposed to achieve. But again, we have to know that it poses challenges to each nation.
Okay.
Your goods and services must be rightly priced.
All right.
Once it's not competitive, nobody's going to buy it. So that is why we are clamoring for government to look into area of infrastructure, especially light, especially transportation. So because these are the ones that give manufacturers headache. Even the normal farmer produces a lot of yam or cassava to bring it to town. What the transport cost is more. It's more than what he has ever done, what he has spent over 1 year on his farm. So when you look at it, the transportation, government has to do something about it. It's very important.
All right, let's also examine the result of the CBN Bankers Committee. Some of the result, they come up with these ideas that no bank is authorized to pay old notes. Banks are only allowed to release new notes via the ATMs. Corporates that require cash should only be given the old 100 naira notes, and below, corporate must not be given the new notes. They also wish to collaborate with the anti-graft agencies in the fight against corruptions. There are many like that. Now, let's look at the situations in the country now, the experience of Nigerians on this policy. Some are yet to get these new naira notes. What is the way forward? Mind you, I think the CBN also has agreed on extension beyond February because of the intervention of the National House of Assembly, because the CBN Act allows that even there should be gradual process of feeding out these old notes, even 5 or 6 months after the deadline. That is the stipulations of the law. So, considering the experience of the Nigerians, what is the way out? Because many people didn't find it very easy.
We are not finding it very easy, and I think we have to thank the House of Rep people for making sure that the thing was extended. I think February 10 now, and CBN has told us that even after February 10, we can always bring it to the CBN, not the banks.
Yes.
But again, those are what we call some of these policies. I don't know who made them. There's only one CBN in every state. So, how many people live in the capital? And I think when they made some of these policies, maybe because some of them are richer than most of us. Somebody, when you are saying this thing, it could be as low as 5,000. It's a lot of money to somebody in the rural area. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's a lot of money to somebody in the rural area, but they assume that everybody is a big person. And that's why they say you can always come to CBN and come and deposit your own notes. Somebody that lives in the village that have 2005 that wants to change. He said you should come to CBN. So that to me is not. And some of those things are not well thought out. But for those who are big, no problem. They should have said you can always go to your bank for so long to change it. That's it. I'll go to CBN. Where do you have CBN? Maybe some states don't even have CBN now.
Is the introductions of super agents
Yes.
into the casual policy not inflicting more pains on the people?
Well, it's not supposed to be, but by our nature, once you create opportunity for Nigeria, they will always cash on it. So super agents.
Don't you think that they are now exploiting?
That's what I mean. They will continue to exploit.
How do you check that?
How do you check that?
How do you checkmate it? Their excesses.
Well, by preaching to Nigerians to do what is right. That's how we can checkmate it. Like I used to say, crime. Do you have every one policeman to one Nigerian? When you create this super agents you say you have created, it's even for the rural areas. You don't need super agents here.
For the cities.
You don't need it in the cities. You need, so who is controlling India? So it will just become a law. It's a bank on its own now. Want to change 10,000? Yeah. If you can't pay 1.5, I know what I went through when I was coming from Osogbo before I brought this money here.
Somebody told me that he has to pay 100 naira on every 1,000 naira.
Yes, that's what it
change.
Yes.
To swap notes.
And if you ask them to, they said they had the cost, well, that they are paid. But to whom?
All right, to whom we don't know now. Let's look at the entire policy. How it's affecting businesses. How long do you think Nigerians would need to wait before everything is off?
Well, in all honesty, from where we are now, like yourself knows, it has most businesses are paralyzed now. They can't do businesses. Shops are not opened. You don't have new notes. The sellers now, the sellers now collecting those notes. You want to do transfer, your network is just rolling. You so, but again, our leaders are always good at fighting approach. I can assure you, by next week, all this thing will be eased out.
For real?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it will ease out. That's Nigeria for you.
Okay.
Honestly, after the 10th, you will discover all these things are gone. They can't continue. After 10th, you will find the money.
So are you saying that it could have been an artificial schedule?
People are catching up. If let the deadline come, the money will be there. Because the deadline says, I can go to the bank and take the normal 100,000. When they give me, is that not their policy?
Okay, so you're saying that.
Yes, is that not the policy? That's the policy now. Do they want to? The deadline is gone now, and I have money in my bank, and I say, this is my check. They said I can take 100,000 a day. So what else?
Okay, in what areas do you think government intervention is still required towards enhancing business activities in the country?
In every area. Take for instance this issue of scarcity. It has to be looked into seriously. Because government is the sole importer. Governments keep on telling us that they have enough fuel. Government keep on telling us that it has not increased price. And yeah, we are buying that. So government has said that they now have a task force, which they say will start job I think today. The task, we hope when the task force starts and they start closing the stations, maybe we will have fuel for the common man.
All right, we deem it proper at this point to end this presentation. Special thanks to our guest, Mr. Makanjuola.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us your thoughts on the program. We are glad to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming. Elder Bisi Makanjuola is the president of Osho State Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. And we have been discussing Nigerian economy, especially as it pertains the cashless policy, Naira scarcity, and the way it is affecting the entire Nigerians. And he has actually, given us his thoughts about the issue and how it could be implemented seamlessly without people going through so much sufferings and challenges. Thank you so much once again, sir, for making it to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Until next week, when we shall bring a fresh edition of Let's Discuss. Safe and remain blessed. I am Antibari Ichimakini.
And I'm Oluchi Abuda. Bye for now.